Okay, we're live. We're live with Factory. So, very quickly, what is Battle Factory? This is Battle Factory. We are playing with rental Pokemon in the Battle Frontier. So I won't know what my team is until I enter a round, and every round is 7 games. And at the end of those 7 games, I have to get a new team each time. We broke the world record last week with 161, and now the question is just how much further can it go? In theory, it could go forever. In reality, I will certainly lose at some point. I'd like to reach 200. I'd like to do it, but this next round is Noland. So Noland is at the end of this round. That's important because in Gen 3 Factory, your opponents have 3 IV Pokemon, and your draft is 31 IV, which means if you swap one of your opponent's Pokemon, you get a worse Pokemon. But Noland has 31 IV Pokemon, so Noland is quite deadly. So it's ground type spec and high risk. So a little bit scary. It does suggest Fisher. It does suggest Fisher, unfortunately. And I'll be updating my team with the on-stream overlay, hopefully. So Walrein is not a bad start. I would like this to be Walrein 4. It's quirky. Okay. I was going to say Walrein 2 or Walrein 4. Walrein 2 is okay. I'm just not a big fan of it. Having no way of healing up is a little bit awkward. But Walrein is a usable Pokemon. I'm not upset. And it's Meganium free. So the classic Endure Flail Meganium. With the Slack Berry and the Overgrowth for Giga Drain. I go back and forth on how good I think this is. Thanks for the good luck, everyone. Thanks for the good luck. Okay. So Special Settlement is actually generally better than Physical Settlement in the Battle Factory, just due to how the matchups work out. I've always been more of a fan of the special sets. Thanks, Gino. So yeah, I'm not upset at this. We've already got a team. I could take these 3 Pokemon already, so everything beyond this is a bit of a bonus. But I want to, basically, because this is a Noland round, and Noland's at the end with 31 IV Pokemon, I want to try and not swap as much as possible, because losing the IV advantage against Noland is awful. Okay, I'm not a fan of Entei 3. I don't think Entei is coming. I think Meganium is better than Entei. I think Walrein is also better than Entei. Okay, Espeon 2. Espeon 2 is a strange creature. It has no special attack investment. It's got max attack, max speed. It remains quite fast despite that. However, on the other side of that, you've got to think that having mixed attack capabilities is good. And having rest is good. There are plenty of enemies in the Battle Frontier which can sort of stall you out in awkward and annoying ways. And having rest against those is really nice. So I'm not upset about seeing Espeon, but it's a bit of a strange one. I would rather it be any other Espeon. Okay, so at least Whiscash will not be in the first game. Whiscash has Fisher. Fisher is a high-risk move. So the first opponent is not going to have Fisher, at least, on Whiscash. Why Psych Up on Entei? So yeah, and the idea of this Entei set is to swagger Psych Up. Not really a believer in it, though. So we're probably up against Fisher. There are other number of other high risk moves in ground. Like there's always a chance of a basically some kind of like double edge set. Like Dugtrio is not just Fisher, it's also double edge. Nidoking is high risk with Horn Drill. Rhydon is high risk with Horn Drill. Quagsire is also possible. There's counter on Quags. There's also counter and Mirror Coat on Swampert. All of these are quite common. There's also Flygon sets with high risk. Facade is also a high risk move. So, yeah. What do I want to lead with? That's the simplest way of starting a draft. I think leading off with the Settlements makes a lot of sense. What's in my mind is whether or not I want to bring Woolrain or Whiscash. It's a bit of a toss-up. Woolrain being able to switch into Ice is quite nice for Settlements lead. And then I've got to probably decide on Espeon or Meganium as the other slot. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. Noland is called Kevin in the German version. Good to know. Okay. That's funny. Okay. I feel like I'm going to go Salamence Woolrain. I think that's probably locked in. The third Pokemon is what I'm not sure about here. I think I'm leaning towards Espeon. I think having rest capability on the team is nice. And Espeon 2 is also decent against the enemy Latias and Latios sets, which are some of the deadliest things you can face in the Frontier. So if we go like this, what are we most concerned about? Certainly not the first match. Meganium is slightly better against ground, but we want to be solid into the later matches as well. It's the worst ground pairing you could see. I mean, Swampert would be annoying. And Rhydon is always a threat. There's also Golem. Golem can explode. That's high risk as well. Espeon versus Meganium is a question of immediate speed versus delayed speed. They're both mixed. I think Espeon is just better. And I'm not that weak to water, at least, that way. Ground water types, yeah. Whiscash can't be in the first match because it's in my draft. But Whiscash can appear later. Quagsire and Swampert are not a huge problem. I'm quite a big believer in not overthinking the drafts. Normally, first idea, best idea. I don't love Espeon 2, but we can drop Espeon 2 for something. If I took Meganium, I'd be weary about ice types, and I'd be weary about water set 4s that beat Woolrain, and there are quite a few of those. Because set 4 waters generally have Ice Beam. So I think we'll do this. I think it makes sense. What have you got for me, Tristan? Okay. I'm going to have to switch because of Ice Beam, I think. Ice Beam is not guaranteed. The most likely Swampert here is actually Swampert 2, because Counter and Mirror Coat are both on Swampert 2, and that makes High Risk activate on its own. I think I'm going to have to go Woolrain here. Synchronize does not work on Ice Beam, so I don't think going Espeon makes much sense. If it is Ice Beam, we'll probably have to switch back into Settlements, hoping for a reveal on Counter or Mirror Coat to tell if it's 3 or 4. Yeah, Meganium could have been an issue with Regice as well. Okay. That's annoying. So do we want to double Intimidate? I think we do. It is basically free. I would like it to not Earthquake. Okay, Mirror Coat reveals Swampert 4. So Swampert 4 is quiet and Swampert 3 is brave. It's good news for Woolrain. Every time I switch, I do take a tiny bit of chip from Ice Beam. So I can probably get 5 Intimidates on this before Surf and Earthquake do similar damage to Woolrain. Perhaps 4. It's a tiny bit irrelevant. Because this 1v1, when I decide to stay in, it's basically all down to whether or not Swampert crits Woolrain. I will not be going for Curse, because after Curse I'm slower. So it's all down to whether or not Earthquake crits at the end. We can Intimidate some more though. It's already surfing, that's fine. So it's tricky, right? Because it can Mirror Coat on Ice Beam. I guess I'm not sure about Earthquake, Ice Beam always killing. That doesn't seem very likely. An option here could be to go Espeon, actually. I'd still be risking the same Earthquake crit line. I think what I'm going to do is just Earthquake. We'll see how much damage Earthquake does. The other option would be to double team. Double team once. It's actually the best protection we get against crit. Let's double team once. You die to Mirror Coat. I would live Mirror Coat unless I crit Ice Beam. That would be very annoying. Let's do one double team. I'm definitely leading off with Earthquake instead of Mirror Coat. It's going to be close, you know, on Earthquake, Mirror Coat. I could go Curse now. I could go Curse, double Earthquake. The problem with Curse is after Curse I am slower. Because this Swampert is quiet. Earthquake, Curse, Earthquake wouldn't kill from here, but I could Curse, Earthquake, Ice Beam. Being slower isn't bad in the sense that if there's a Pokemon in the back that has Levitate or Flying type, it can switch into Woolrain after a slower Earthquake. It's not terribly likely to be there for like the floating. There's Clado and Flygon. Those are both possible to be in the back. I don't love those scenarios. Does Espeon outspeed all the Dugtrio sets? It does. Dugtrio is 158 speed at level 50 with free IV. The issue is if I use Curse and like Rhydon comes in, and Rhydon or Golem, particularly with a rock move, they'd be quite likely to switch in to Woolrain, and I'd be slower than them. I think I don't want to Curse. I think I Earthquake again. It's very greedy to Ice Beam here. Thanks to the table. It's a good start. The double team paid off handsomely. That is a torrent boosted Surf, but it's fine. We'll go Ice Beam to preserve the Earthquake PP, in case that's needed later. Donphan. Ugh, that's a tricky one. So Settlements does not want to switch into a rock move. Because I would hate to be crit by a rock move, that would be horrendous. So a Shell Bell from Swampert, which doesn't narrow down at all. This is fairly likely to be a quick claw set. Given that I'm at +1 evasion, I think I am staying in. I think I am staying in, just doesn't seem worth it to do anything else. If it does quick claw crit me, then I will probably be forced to go Settlements anyway, and just hope it doesn't crit Settlements as well. Okay, Earthquake. Actually, it's faster than me, which means it's Donphan 2. It's either Donphan 2 or it was a quick claw from Donphan 3 or 4. About 70, didn't it? Because Donphan 2 is jolly. I think it could be any of those. It's not Donphan 1, that's all we know. What if I died to Fissure? If I died to Fissure, I died to Fissure. I have got no great way of playing around Fissure and playing around Rock Move at the same time. But that's good. So the final Pokemon could be anything, because Swampert 4 was high risk with Mirror Coat, and all the Earthquake Donphans have Fissure. All the Earthquake Donphans that could have outspeed me had Fissure, so the final Pokemon doesn't have to be high risk, it can be anything. Okay, it's another flying. It's another ground type, I mean. Surely I stay in. This is the most useful that Wolverine can be. We have the evasion boost. It's an Earthquake set, okay. The fact that it crits doesn't make it a bit more likely to be a Scope Lens Flygon, I guess, but we can't know anything from that. It could be one of the others. So we definitely want to Intimidate first, that makes a lot of sense. Flygon 1 has Bright Powder, that's the only way that this could go wrong. Flygon 1 is very unlikely to beat Espeon, even if Settlements misses it and misses it again. Yeah, like, with leftovers, I'm so likely to beat Flygon 1. I'm not that worried about it. Okay. We could have maybe scouted it there. What we could have done is gone, could have gone to Espeon and then switched back into Settlements. But I don't think we'd be ever taking Flygon. What is next? The last world record was 155 by LRXC. Okay, no type, no phrase. What kind of weird set is Flygon 2? Flygon 2 is a set designed to troll round 5. The Sunny Day Fire Blast Solar Beam set, it is very strange. We do want to avoid swapping as much as possible. Swampert 4 is an interesting option though. The issue that Swampert 4 has is that it's not an ice resist. What it is though is it is a rock resist for Settlements coming out. I'm quite seriously considering the Swampert for Wolverine swap though. Swampert for Espeon is quite awkward because Settlements is leading and I wouldn't want to lose to a Grass this late into a streak. It'd be very embarrassing because Grass is a terrible type in Gen 3. I kind of just want to keep the IV advantage. Wolverine is a lot faster than Swampert. Like, they're both slow, but in Factory Land, where enemies have free IVs, outspeeding base 75 and below is quite significant. Uninvested base 75 and below. Shadow Ball and Espeon is a bit early for that. That is true. This is a troll Espeon set, but it's still Espeon. I'm gonna keep. I dive below the surf. Victory Bell. So because there's no specific phrase, we do not know much about Victory Bell. Any of them are possible here. It is very tempting to just immediately Flamethrower. I would kill all of them except for one, because Victory Bell 1 is max special defense. Victory Bell 3 and 4 have Bright Powder. I don't like switching. If I was going to switch, I would be switching to Espeon to cover for the Sleep Powder from Victory Bell 1 or 2. But switching Espeon into a Stun Spore would be very annoying from Victory Bell 3. I think I am staying in. Just going to Flamethrower it. Get ahead. Thanks, Megazard. Don't worry, we've got some plans for the second channel, don't worry. Okay, we kill it. So yeah, that doesn't tell us very much at all. Aggron. Aggron switching in. So it is likely to not be Aggron 1. The others all have a super effective move against elements. Again, I do not want to bring Walrein into a Rock Slide potentially. No Magic Bounce in Gen 3, no. I think I might actually stay in with Elements. Because we've seen a Grass. There's no Sceptile in the back, for example. And we've seen the Steel. Elements' job is kind of done here. I think I like just using Flamethrower. And if Aggron does crit me or something, I can just finish it off with Earthquake from Walrein, and then it's a 2 versus 1 at the end. Walrein and Espeon. He could use, I mean, it could be Blizzard. I guess what would be very annoying about the Blizzard set would be missing. But I can't switch into Rock Slide. Particularly if it's Aggron 4, because Aggron 4 would use Rock Slide in the following turn as well. So it would like double Rock Slide, and then I'd be risking Quick Claw on the turn after that. And honestly, I think I'd rather do Walrein Espeon versus the final stop than Elements Espeon. Yeah, we're continuing the world record from last week. Could do a track. A track is not a terrible idea. I did briefly consider that about a minute ago, but I think I am just going to Flamethrower. It is possible that it's Aggron 1 as well. I also wouldn't want to switch into Iron Tail. Okay, it is free. We do die to Blizzard. Okay, so the question here on free is that, do I want to use Calm Mind? Do I want to use Calm Mind? I risk potentially being frozen or paralyzed or burned if I do that. Even if I go Walrein for safety, I can miss because of Bright Powder. I could also go for a double team, that's not terrible either. I think it is Walrein. I think it is Walrein. Game Freak were not afraid to put special attacking sets on Pokemon with base 60. Yeah, I am very scared about Espeon being frozen by Blizzard. It's the main reason I haven't gone it. Okay. I'm very pleased about no Bright Powder there. That's big. Is Wailord last? Okay. Let me recap. What did we know? We know nothing about Victory Bell. Aggron 3 does not activate any phrases on its own. So this can be any Wailord set. Literally anyone. I kind of like using Curse, but Fissure scares me. Fissure from Wailord 3 and 4. I would want to Curse immediately against Wailord 2, but I think having one turn off is fine. And it's likely to begin with Curse anyway. Wailord 2 is an underrated threat here. That is true. Because Wailord was third in party order, and Aggron came out first with the Ice move. So because Celements has a better type matchup into Wailord than Aggron, it has a better offensive type matchup. If this was an Ice using... If this was an Ice move Wailord, it would have come out first. So actually we know that this is Wailord 2 or 3. That's a good point. Just explain that for the rest of the stream. It's good news that it's not Wailord 4, I guess. I really hope this isn't the double team set. I think against Wailord 2 I'd be okay, because I can just match its curse boosts. And it's going to take too much damage on the recoil from Double Edge anyway. It might not be a stupid idea to Ice Beam. No, so I stream to Twitch and YouTube. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to stream to Twitch and what I'm going to stream to YouTube, and what the delineation is there, because the way that Battle Frontier works is basically the better the team is, the more boring it is to watch. Like the Battle Tower teams I use are very strong. So I probably won't be streaming those on YouTube. But Battle Factory is always interesting. I feel like people are interested in Battle Factory, so the Battle Factory streams probably will be on YouTube more. But I still need to decide what it does. I think I like Ice Beam more than Earthquake, actually. Because I like the upside of Freeze. And the damage is almost identical. Right, let me check. Like, we're HP both defenses. We've got no investment in either attack stat. It makes Ice Beam and Earthquake almost identical damage. Okay. So a significant breakpoint on Wailord 3 is 60% HP, which is when, if it's slower, it wants to use Rest. I could intentionally go Curse to make myself slower than it, to change how the Rest logic works. The problem with doing that is I give it 2 chances to hit Fissure, which I really, really don't like. And if anyone is asking, Double Team does not help me against Fissure. Fissure is always 30% accurate when you're the same level. The music's a bit loud, I can turn it down. A flying type that's immune to Fissure would be really handy right now. That is true. But we do not We do not know what the final Pokemon is. If we knew that this was the final Pokemon, we would definitely save Salamence. But yeah, hindsight is 2020. It would take a lot to Wailord to win from here. We will be doing videos in the future going over the history of Battle Tower teams and so on. Okay, I'm very glad we hit. I'm not glad that it used Double Team. So it is going to use Rest here. There's not a lot of point attacking, really. I'm quite seriously considering switching to Espeon, because I would rather have Espeon in than Walrein, just because Espeon does a lot more damage. Another option is to actually now use Curse. The idea of Curse now does have more legs. Curse so that Earthquake can free-shot Wailord. Perhaps even double Curse Earthquake, and then it's forced to rest again. Another option is that I Ice Beam to go for the freeze before it can rest. It is getting a bit spooky now. This is not what I wanted to happen, was the double team. It is not guaranteed to rest, it's just incredibly likely. So I think I'm a bit nervous about switching to Espeon though. Curse would mean that I'm slower, but the fact that I do more damage is quite relevant. The other problem here is that I've got 8 Earthquakes left, which might sound like a lot, but if I Earthquake and then it rests and I've got 7 left, I do actually run the risk of running out of Earthquake BP. I'm going to have to start cursing. Wailord will quite consistently use Rest here. I think I'm going to curse. I think I am going to curse. I might have to curse more later, but I'd rather curse on Rest than do anything else. Okay, wasn't guaranteed, that's true. Oh. That probably means it's not at the 60% threshold, which probably means that it is very likely to Hydro Pump or Fissure now. But I do want to do damage. Yeah, okay. That's not great. That's not great. I'm going to have to Calm Mind. Because without Calm Mind, Espeon's not going to two-shot. And also, I don't want to be vulnerable to the Hydro Pump 2-shot. Okay. This is very scary. Fissure does kill me here, if it hits. It is quite likely to use Double Team though, since it's at full health. It's quite likely to use Double Team until it has +3 evasion. And then it becomes a lot more likely to start attacking. Calm Mind will not encourage Fissure. The Fissure AI is very simple. Fissure is just always at what we call +0 on the enemy. So Hydro Pump is +0 as strongest regular attack. Fissure is always +0 as an OHKO move that isn't resisted or immune, or there's no sturdy involved for Espeon. So Double Team is likely, and then Rest becomes very likely at lower health. I will have to hit Psychics. There's no point using there's no point in me using Calm Mind. I need to just hit Psychic. I need to hit 2 Psychics. I could use 3 Calm Minds and then Psychic one-shots. but using Psychic earlier than that encourages rest. And when it's resting, it's not using Fissure. And also, Psychic has a chance of critting it. Okay, that's big. That's big. It went for a 4th double team. It's definitely not low enough for me to Shadow Ball. It would have to be in red health to go for Shadow Ball as a finish-up move. I'm a bit aware of how low I could be getting on Psychic PP soon. But Warelord should be using Rest here every time. It's like 98% to use Rest. I would say it that way. No. No. It's not bad, though. If I can hit it while it's asleep and get it that low on HP again. If I can get it that low again, then it'll use Rest again. So it's very important that I hit in one of the next few turns so that it can't use Fissure or Hydro Pump. Oh. Yeah, so at +4 we're 43% to hit Psychic. We don't one-shot at +2. This Warelord's got 170 HP, 170 special defense. So it does wake up here. It can use Fissure. But I need it to spend as much time asleep as possible. Okay. Just hit. Just hit. Okay, thank God. Thank God. Yeah, that's really scary. Yeah, sleepers. Rest is 3 turns of sleep. I think if I missed that Psychic, I probably did have to go Calm Mind. Fake tension. I definitely could have lost that. It had 4 fishes left. No type. No phrase. So cast my mind back. We don't know anything about Victory Bell. Actually, we do. Because it was Bright Powder Aggron 3, which means it wasn't Victory Bell 3 or 4. So it was Victory Bell 1 or 2, but we don't want either of those. Special Aggron is terrible, and although Warelord looked like it almost beat us, an important thing about Factory is to understand that the Pokemon that almost beat you, they're not necessarily Pokemon you want to swap for. Like, Warelord is good when it only needs to get a little bit of luck to win against you, but I don't want to use Warelord myself. This was nearly a case of the Frontiers. Having said that, it wouldn't have even been that unlucky, would it? Like, Warelord's hitting Fissure is fairly likely with multiple chances. Swampert is back. We know it's not Swampert 2, because Swampert 2 would activate High Risk. So this is actually very different to last time. Very different. In the sense that it's very, very, very likely to be Ice Beam. So are we going to adjust? I feel like the adjustment might be to go Espeon. Let's see if we can find out if it's Counter or Mirror Coat first. So the trainer classes don't mean anything in Factory. They do mean something in the other facilities. It is Counter. That makes it Swampert 3. Which is Brave. It has a stronger Earthquake. I'm wondering if I go Espeon, because it will be at -3 attack at that point. I probably live Ice Beam, Earthquake, Earthquake. The problem is I'm not sure if I two-shot with Espeon, because Swampurt's going to get Shell Bell healing, and Psychic will only just do enough to two-shot, I think. We can Ice Beam this time because it's not Swampert 4, that's what I'm thinking about. Because last time I felt like I probably should have gone Espeon, but this time if it's Swampert 3, I think I'd rather go Wool Rain. Anyway, we've done enough attack dropping now. Could have gone for double team, but I would rather not risk it, to be honest. It is quite significant that Swampert is the lead. Water and ground are big types to eliminate in the back in terms of type spec. I don't want to be greedy with double team. I don't want to give it more chances to crit me. Okay, nice crit. Take it. Gardevoir being the switch in is a little bit ominous. There are only 2 Thunderbolt sets, but they're both quite likely here. This could be a bit of an Espeon 2 moment as well. As long as it's not Gardevoir 2 or Gardevoir 7, we can two-shot it with Shadow Ball. I don't think I want to go Salamence. That was a major alternative. Honestly, instead of the Espeon play, I think I'd rather just Earthquake Crunch. Yeah, I'm not sure why Gardevoir got 8 sets. It's a little bit random what Pokemon in Gen 3 Frontier got 4 versus 6 versus 8 sets. Dragonite and Cheetah being open level exclusive Pokemon makes sense for them to get 10 sets at least. Swampert counters no Debond, that is correct. Gardevoir 7 is not possible. Gardevoir 2 would actually be fairly devastating. Do I Ice Beam because of Gardevoir 2? Gardevoir 2 is max HP, max defense. It's a lot more likely to be Gardevoir 4 or Gardevoir 1 or Gardevoir 3 or Gardevoir 8 because those all have special attacks that are super effective against Wool Rain. And Magical Leaf and Thunderbolt. But just because it's unlikely to be Gardevoir 2 doesn't mean it can't be Gardevoir 2. Also, if it's Gardevoir 1, it could lead off with Reflect. I've actually talked myself into Ice Beam, I think. It has Trace Thick Fat. It won't matter for the no bulk sets. Like Gardevoir 3, 4, and 8 will feint to do a Thick Fat Ice Beam into a Shadow Ball. But I guess the case then is that if it's Gardevoir 4, it could have Bright Powder. And then I probably... even then, I think I'd rather go Espeon, right? I really want to go Salamence. I think I am going back towards Espeon as the play here. I think I am going back that way. Because there's no Lumberry set that's possible here that could also status Espeon. And I think against Gardevoir 1 I want to put Espeon in as fast as possible because of Chesto Berry. I've gone back towards Espeon as the knee-jerk play. Okay. That's annoying. It's annoying because it's the Bright Powder set. Shadow Ball is physical, but we do have max attack. We do a lot of damage. What's scary about this is if I miss, I'll have to make the decision between going to Wall Rain and being outsped by Gardevoir, or going to Celements and potentially having Bright Powder miss on the table into Ice Punch. No way, dude. No, don't paralyze me. Okay, so I rest here, right? God, I hate Bright Powder so much. I wouldn't even be that upset if it did paralyze me. Okay, it's gone for the Fire Punch for the kill move. Yeah, we're 31 IV and we're speed invested. We are a lot faster. Surely I wouldn't miss twice. Nice. I'm considering going to Wall Rain. It sounds strange, but I'm considering it, because it's only 1 in 4 for it to use Thunderbolt here. And having Espeon alive might be quite important. Swampert Gardevoir. It's fine. Just don't miss. Just don't miss. Okay, nice. Crobat, okay. So Crobat 3 and 4 are faster than Espeon, and Crobat 1 and 2 are slower than Espeon. To be honest, I think this has to be Crobat 4, otherwise I always win. Crobat 4 specifically does have a chance to Mega Hacks me, but Crobat 4 is Bright Powder, and that Gardevoir was Bright Powder, so I think it is a guaranteed win from here. Because Espeon, yeah, Espeon's faster, and so is Celements when it comes to Crobat 1 and 2, and Crobat 3 can't win. Okay. We one-shot, and we're faster, so it was Crobat 1. Because Crobat 2 is HP defense, special defense invested. Psychic. Slow and steady. Link to the music playlist. I'm using this. Thanks, Megazard. Using this. This is what I'm playing right now. I don't think I want to counter Pert. It's good to know that it's not Gardevoir in the next game, actually. Because Gardevoir was one of the ones I was more scared of. I am a little bit scared of Metagross, though. I'm a bit worried about Celements fainting and then Metagross being in the back. I'm also a bit worried about like a Quick Claw Latios or Quick Claw Latias. It is good that it is very good for me though that Gardevoir and Espeon are not possible. I think I have to stick. I can't take any of those. Gardevoir 4 is a great Pokemon with the IV advantage, but it falls off quite hard without it. Particularly with Noland coming up on 168. Like, being slower than the uninvested base 100s is really bad for Gardevoir. I'm gonna stay. Okay, Xatu. I really want to just crunch you. It is slow and steady, which means it's very, very likely to be Xatu 2, because Toxic, Confuse Ray, and Attract are all slow and steady moves. It is a little bit annoying if it is that, because Xatu 2 has HB, Defense, Special Defense, Investment, which means it lives Crunch. But it could easily be slow and steady in the back, and I don't want to switch against Xatu 4. So I think we are just going to Crunch. Yeah, it's Xatu 2. That is slightly annoying. I'm considering going Espeon. Espeon already being in is not a bad thing for a Psychic spec. And it can't Confuse Ray back to back. Because I'm already confused, it won't use Confuse Ray again. Just go Espeon. That's fine, because we can Calm Mind on that, obviously. I'm a little bit worried about Shadow Ball killing, but I am underestimating Espeon there. We are max attack invested, and we do have the IV advantage. Should always be a kill. And it will do more than Psychic at +1. I do not want to be confused, so we are killing it here, I think. Plot armor. Thanks, Plazic. Right, let's get rid of this. Okay. Okay, it is quite likely to be a super effective switch in then, which is Shadow Ball. Last 3 sets are all Shadow Ball, aren't they? We've seen slow and steady from Xatu already, so this can be any Latios. I'm considering going Walrein. I'm strongly considering it. The problem is, if it is a Thunderbolt Latios, it's a pretty bad idea to go Walrein. Because Latios lives Ice Beam. And it's faster than Walrein. I think I have to stay in. It's very annoying to stay in because I am very aware that it's very, very likely to be a Shadow Ball set. And therefore it's quite likely to kill me here. But I guess if it is a Shadow Ball set, I can just go Salamence, right? Because the only one that can dodge Dragon Claw from Salamence is the Bright Powder one, which doesn't have a move to hit Salamence with. So yeah, it sucks, but we have to stay in and probably sack Espeon here. I could go Rest. Rest is an interesting option. The downside of Rest is I could potentially be giving Latios 7 a chance to Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance into Shadow Ball. I'd probably live a +1 Shadow Ball. Because Latios 7 does not have attack investment, it's the others that do. Rest is not a bad idea, I'm just worried about being crit. Why do all the other sets as well? It's bad. Why do you choose level 50 not open level? Was a good question. I play both. I just happen to have a longer streak in level 50 right now. In open level at the moment I've got a 126 streak. There's no deeper reason than that. Factory is fun in level 50 and open level. I am a believer in open level being very slightly easier, like 1 or 2% easier. I think the extra sets help the player more than they hurt it. I think if I rest and I get crit, I'm going to be really, really upset. I would rather go for the lower variance player just using Shadow Ball. Yeah. That was always quite likely. So it killed without a crit, which makes it Latios 6 or 8. Okay, and the Shell Bell confirms Latios 6. So I just go Salamence and I kill it. And the final Pokemon could be anything because we've seen the Psychic phrase get confirmed already. almost anything is possible in the back. The run will eventually end. There is this paradox, right, of I'm quite likely to win 7 battles each time. So you think you just chain that forever, but, you know, over hundreds of battles you are very likely to eventually get caught out by something. The Gen 4 is a lot harder than Gen 3. Gen 3 factory is quite significantly easier because of the enemies being free IV, apart from Noland. Okay, this is a psychic specialist. Clado on the back as well. So, this can be anything, can't it? There are no double high risks. Yeah, this can be anything. The only way to lose this would be to Clado 2, getting incredibly lucky with double teams. Everything else I beat because Wall Rain is faster. Okay, good. Battle Factory is a lot harder than all the other Gen 4 facilities, so the Gen 3 Frontier, the hardest Gen 3 Frontier symbol is Factory, but it's not way harder than the rest. Whereas in Gen 4, all of the gold symbols are quite a lot easier than Factory. Clearly we attract here. Let's attract the Clado. It's Murphy's Law, eventually something goes wrong. Basically, the thing about Factory is, at some point you get a bad draft. And if you get a bad draft, you're just waiting for the opponent to have a strong team, and then you lose. So yeah, speedrunners will play at level 50 because the HP bars go down faster, that's true, but this is not a speedrun. We're just trying to win as many games in a row. It's like the opposite of a speedrun. It's actually a good idea to go slowly, but I find that going slowly doesn't help me that much. I type high risk. I find if I overthink it, I often make worse decisions. So I like to try and keep matches below 20 minutes. So yeah, does the AI cheat? Like, technically, the AI knows exactly what stats you have at all times. And technically, the AI knows if the Quick Claw is going to activate in Gen 3. These are technically cheating, but it's like, it's not what people think of when they think of cheating. Yeah, in the Gen 4, they're just stronger sets. Just slightly stronger sets. The post-game seasons are fascinating, I agree. High risk. Right, so we said to refocus. So Latios 6 is the mixed set with T-Wave, which is actually quite good. But I don't want to drop Celemens. Celemens is a better special attacker than Latios with the IV advantage. I don't want to lose Wall Rain. I think Wall Rain's actually been quite good. And Espeon's proven itself as well. What was that Claydol set at the end? We got hit by Rock Slide, right? It's Claydol 1. Yeah. I don't think I'm ever taking one of those. We could think about it more, but I just don't think I'd ever change my mind. Ninetales. High risk Ninetales is not a surprise. So the funny thing about Ninetales is that, yes, Overheat is a high risk move, but so is Grudge. So this could be Ninetales 2 or Ninetales 4. It could be the others as well, they're just less likely. It's likely to be Ninetales 2 or 4. I do think I'm staying in. I don't mind getting burned so much. It's going to be more high risk in the back either way. We actually saw the white herb, didn't we? Which makes this Ninetales 4. The commentary definitely makes me work. That definitely makes it worse. Here we go. Here come the chat comments. Yeah, they've got it. Nice going, guys. Just too distracted to talk about Ninetales 2 having high risk Grudge. I will be switching if it confuse Rays, otherwise I'm staying in. We should be good to two-shot this with Dragon Claw. It's fine. I would like to stay in, not only to avoid taking damage or something, but just because we get another turn of leftovers healing. Are your Pokemon bred or hacked? So I get them in the vanilla game and then I hack them into my emulator save. So kind of both, if that makes sense. There is nothing wrong with hacking in Pokemon as long as they are legal. So as long as you don't use Drill Peck, Whirlwind, Skarmory or something. But yeah, in the factory, they are provided by the game itself, so they're not hacked. But I'm assuming you're talking about the other facilities. Let's get rid of Ninetales. Nidoqueen. So Nidoqueen 1 is high risk. And Nidoqueen 2 has double edge. Okay, so it's probably Nidoqueen 1 or 2. But the fact that it switched in, I am aware that it could be Nidoqueen 3 as well. I think unlike last time, there might be a real case for switching here. Because Nidoqueen 2's Rock Slide does not do that much damage to Walrein. There might be a case for going Espeon as well. The problem with Espeon is that because we don't have any special attack investment, we don't one-shot Nidoqueen, which is really annoying. I think we're going to go an Ice Beam, yeah. I'll link the players again. We're listening to this, I'm not sure where I am on it right now. So we see Ice Beam, okay. So Lumberry is out, and White Herb is out for the final slot. And the final slot also has to be high risk. It's good to know. No reason to play with my food here. Just Ice Beam. I can Ice Beam EQ, maybe. It's definitely Ice Beam first. That's annoying. Okay. Unfortunately, it's tricky to switch into Thunderbolt. It's probably dead Walrein if we get hit by a full Paralyze again. What are the best free sets in Gen 4 Factory, in my opinion? Cresselia 4, Garchomp 4, Latios 3, maybe. As standalones, those are the ones that come to mind. Okay. Being low health is not bad because one of the easiest ways to lose a 3 versus 1 in Factory like we are in now is for an enemy Pokemon to come in with a setup move. And being low on HP means that they're unlikely to use setup moves because they would rather kill me. It's Dodrio, okay. It's high risk Dodrio, so it's not Dodrio 1. It's also not Dodrio 3 because that's Lumberry. So it's 2 or 4. I still hold all the records for Gen 4 Factory, yeah. Well, depending on if you... Well, maybe that's not true. Like, there is a Japanese player who's got 105 in level 100. But it's... I'm not sure how much I believe it, to be blunt. Facade. So Facade's broken in the AI. The AI wants to use Facade when my Pokemon are paralyzed or burned or whatever, instead of when they're paralyzed or burned. So Facade means it's Dodrio 4, so we just Dragon Claw and kill it. It's quite straightforward. Ninetales is too high risk. Oh yeah, because of double edge and overheat. True. Anyway. No focus band from Woolrain. Woolrain is saving up the focus band for Noland. No type. No phrase. I'm a little bit scared. I said the problem with switching is Noland has 31 IV Pokemon, and if I switch, I have 3 IV Pokemon. I am quite strongly considering the Dodrio, though. Endure Flail Dodrio with Selakberry is a very nice tool. It's a tool you only get to use once. The problem with Dodrio is I don't think I'm swapping out Salamence ever. And if I put Dodrio over Espeon, I have a double electric weak, while Salamence itself is not great into electrics. And if I swap out Dodrio for Woolrain, I have a big weakness to ice. And in particular, I'm a little bit vulnerable to several of the more stooly legendary sets. I'm also a bit nervous about enemy rock types. So yeah, probably not taking Dodrio. It is a strong consideration to take Dodrio for, though. It's the first Pokemon I'm really thinking about, but I think I'm going to say no. I have not swapped yet. So the thing about Gen 4, Gen 4 you swap a lot, because you swap whenever it improves your team. But Gen 3, because you don't want the free IV Mons, it's kind of meta to like almost never swap. Am I British? Yes, sadly. How often do you battle Noland? So Noland appears every 21 games. And Noland will be appearing at battle 168. So after this guy. Unless I lose it to him. Yes, I lose to him. Okay, Whiscash. It is less likely to be Fisher Whiscash at least, because that's high risk. Partial high risk activation. Do I stay in and risk being Ice Beamed? Probably not. Probably is always a switch. Whiscash 2 would rather Future Sight than Spark. And it would rather Surf than Spark as well, but Surf and Spark are overlapping roles. And Whiscash 1, because I've intimidated it, I'm not that afraid of it. You just swap in the early rounds. You do want to aim for high swap counts right at the start, around the first 42 games. I do not follow football, no. I'm going to go Woolrain. I'm quite comfortable about this. I do not want to be Ice Beamed. I particularly don't want to be Quick Claw Ice Beamed. Surf only did 21 damage with Surf. Surely that's Whiscash free. Do I even need to check? I don't think I do. I think it is guaranteed to be Whiscash free. So the IV bug in the Gen 3 factory is for round 8 and 9. So the elevated Pokemon on round 8 and the regular Pokemon on round 9 have random IVs. And then in factory in general, every single opponent has free IVs. So this is a free IV Whiscash. Except for the 7th match of each round, which is 6. And except for Nolan, who is 31 IVs. So I'm going to go back to Salamence because it's Whiscash free. Yeah. I could actually attract here. It's not terrible. I could also potentially go for Flamethrower. Could also maybe go for Crunch. These are all sort of the same. Like, if I get a Spadef drop with Crunch, it would enable me to go Espeon and Calm Mind into Psychic. I would be doing that against Sleep Talk, though, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think I'm probably always just killing this with Salamence. So what I'm going to do here, because it crit, is use Attract. Because I want to heal up with... Okay, it is Oblivious. I forgot that. Nice little misplay there. I want to keep it alive for longer so that I can force it to rest again. I don't want to kill it, basically. Because I think I can heal more than it can deal damage to me with Sleep Talk, Rest. Surf. Why does the AI use Surf and not spam Fisher at that HP? Because of the way the AI is coded. Surf has the strongest regular attack and Fisher are both at +0, so it's just a 50-50 on what it uses. I will use 1 Dragon Claw. God damn it. Okay, whatever. It's going to use 1 Dragon Claw and then wait. So here is the Resident Electric. I probably have to stay in and Dragon Claw this. Dragon Claw is going to be a range against every Manectric. Manectric is quite likely to T-Wave me. Manectric 3 and 4. So pissed off that I crit. I should be at full health here, but it's fine. The major alternative is that I go Espeon, but I don't think I want to go Espeon. I do not want to go Espeon and a Thunderbolt into a Thunderbolt paralysis. It's annoying because not only did I crit, but I high roll crit. I think I just Dragon Claw, right? Just try and kill it. There's no way that Dragon Claw isn't the best move to use. It's just really annoying that it makes contact. Okay. Yeah. That was somewhat likely. Yeah, the contact is annoying, but Flamethrower would never kill. We did not get lucky on that Dragon Claw range, but it's okay. If we fully paralyze, we fully paralyze. Espeon is faster than Manectric. Worst case scenario, Salamence dies. And it's a 2v1 with Espeon and Walrein. At least I know the final Pokemon is not electric. Sceptile! What did we say at the start of the stream? When avoiding the grass loss. Sceptile 4 would be so annoying here. It's not Sceptile 2, that's Lumberry. We actually know it's not Sceptile 4 though, because Sceptile 4 would always come in before Manectric. Since it has Dragon Claw, yeah. So it has to be Sceptile 1 or 3. And I don't think we can ever lose to either of those. Well, Sceptile 1 might be able to beat me. Because I think Sceptile 1's Leaf Blade, because it's modest, Sceptile 1 Leaf Blade crit on Walrein probably can kill. But like Sceptile 1's not getting through Espeon, it's fine. Just kill it. Is Sceptile 1 as well? It's going to be hard for it to kill Salamence. I might want to consider switching to Intimidate it again on Aerial Ace. I just don't think that's going to matter though. Okay. If it leeches, I probably will switch. 5 paralyze. Okay, nice. So the tracker is going to break for Noland. Because I base my streak counter on the image, and this guy says something different for Noland. So it should say 167, but it doesn't because it's broken. I'll manually update it after this. Is good. Solomon's 8 is good. There's no doubt about that. I've got quite a good team. So what was that? It was a Restore Whiskash. It was Whiskash 3. It was Manectric 3 or 4. I should have damage calced the Thunderbolt. I forgot how much it did to Settlements. And Sceptile 1. I can't take those really. They're pretty bad. We're dodging the number. Yeah, I didn't say it. So Noland can have anything. Most trainers in the Battle Factory can't have the same Pokemon you have. So for example, because I have Settlements, a regular opponent couldn't have Settlements 1 or Settlements 2. But Noland can. Noland ignores species scores with the player. Noland does not show up in doubles, no. I'm decently likely to lose. There's probably about a 10% chance I lose this. It's probably mostly on how good the opening matchup is for Settlements. God damn it. No, oh, that's not good. Okay. That's really unfortunate. It might have to be Noland. It might have to be Raikou too for me to have a good chance here. Because the others always just... There's a chance they throw with Thunder Wave or something, but they're quite likely to just double T-Bolt. And because it's Noland, because it's a 31 IV Raikou, Raikou is faster than Espeon. Not just that, Dragon Claw into Earthquake won't kill Raikou. So Raikou is quite likely to rip through my team. In many ways, this is the worst thing I could have faced. It might be so bad that I might have to go for double team after sacrificing Settlements. I think what I need to happen actually, I think Raikou needs to choke. I think Raikou needs to use Thunder Wave on something instead of going for the 2-shot. Yeah, Raikou is... Like, Raikou is worse than Zapdos because I could have Ice Beamed Zapdos. Raikou is... I think it is the worst thing that could have appeared. What would have been worse than Raikou? Like, maybe a tanky Blissey set. I think I needed to choke. I think there's no chance apart from that, really. %, burn. It's something I'm thinking about. The thing is, I kind of need it to be Raikou 2. Because Raikou 2 is going to use Rain Dance, and it's going to use Double Team before it uses Thunder. I've got a good chance against Raikou 2. I can't swap, unfortunately, because this is the last set of the round, and next round I get completely new Pokemon. It would normally be a good thing to face Raikou, but I can't swap for this. It's the last match of the round. So I don't think I want to Flamethrower because I think I'm throwing away my potentially best chance against Raikou 2. There's also Raikou 4 with a Lumberry. Flamethrower burn would be nice against Raikou 3. I mean, Raikou 1, low-key, I'm kind of dead. Because it's quite likely to lead off with Calm Mind. I think I need to crit Raikou 1, actually. Let's crit Dragon Claw. I think that's the best thing I can do. Either pray that it's Raikou 2, and Raikou 2 doesn't get lucky enough, or that it's a crit Dragon Claw, or that Raikou 1, 3, or 4 go for Thunder Wave. Even though they're already faster, they've still got a chance of using it. Okay, that's huge. It's very likely to be Raikou 4, because Raikou 2 would always Rain Dance, and most of the time it would rather double team. Okay. We'll have to keep that in mind for the Earthquake potential as well. To be honest, I still need to crit, and I still need it to use Thunder Wave. If it's Thunderbolt 2, I'm still actually in quite a bad position. It's Thunderbolts, okay. At least it didn't crit. And I don't crit. Okay. So something's getting hit by Thunderbolt. It's always going to go for the kill here. I'm not going to be in bite range. I'm not low enough to be in bite range, or it's always just going to use Thunderbolt here and kill me. Okay. I think it's always Espeon. I think it's always Espeon. If I get paralyzed with either Walrein or Espeon, I'm in sort of an equally bad position. I really hope I didn't need Salamence for whatever was in the back. We definitely don't have time to play around that. I think it's Espeon. Does it kill with a crit bite? So Thunderbolt does more than bite to Espeon. But yes, Thunderbolt and bite can both kill with a crit. In some ways, the worst thing it can do might actually be T-Wave. I think I'd rather Espeon get hit than get paralyzed. Okay, at least it didn't crit me. Walrein would live Raikou's T-Bolt. That's not great. The problem here is that Reflect is still up. It's not Mischievous 4 because of the Lumberry. I wonder if I actually switch here. It's a really hard decision on whether or not I switch here. Rest is also a potential move. Mean Look would be actually devastating. They've all got ghost moves. They've all got ghost moves, so they all see a super effective switch in on Espeon. Like, I'd really want to switch against Mischievous 1. Espeon being alive means Espeon can still use Rest later on in the game. Still got Resto Chesto. Against Mischievous 2 it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, they're all going to Thunder Wave. Apart from Mischievous 1, which is going to attack. The Frontier panic is real. I don't know what to do. Why not Rest? If I rest and it Shadow Balls, aren't I in a worse position? I've given up my Resto Chesto at that point. So I'm just catching up on chat quickly. Got to switch and double team for YouTube Shorts, true. Just go for the scam option. Should I turn on the music actually, in the in-game music? Why not? Let's put the in-game music on. Does the streak only count if you finish sets? No, no, no. So my if I lost right now, my streak would be 167. I think I have to switch. I think I have to switch. It is devastating if it is Mischievous 3 though. If it does go for the Perish Trap on Woolrain. But switching is so much better against Mischievous 1 and 2. Okay, I will save the chatter who is going to eat toilet paper if I don't switch. It's going to... Okay, yeah. It's 2 or 3. I kind of need it to be 2. I kind of need it to be set 2. Yeah, so the problem with 3 is that 3 is going to try and Perish Trap me. But once I'm paralyzed and confused, I'm quite likely to get Perish Trapped myself. And Ice Beam won't 2-shot Mischievous 3. It's too bulky for that. So with Para Fusion, Paralyze and Confusion stacking, it's going to have time to Perish Trap me. At least Espeon can Revenge though, most likely. I just don't want it to confuse Ray. It is very likely to confuse Ray. I would much rather it Perish Song or Mean Looked. Even better than that if it is the idea of it being Mischievous 2. If it's Mischievous 2, it's fine. Mischievous 2 is fine. Mischievous 2 will do some damage to me, but that's it. Come on, Wolverine. Come on, please. 37.5%. Huge. Freeze it, please. Freeze it. Okay, nice crit. Okay. It's free. But it's actually better that it's free because I crit. Because it's not leftovers, it's free. You know what I might want to do here is actually switch back. Because it's either going to Mean Look or Perishong. Switching back would be a great idea. Well, if it Perishongs, that could be annoying for Espeon. The problem with switching back is that I could miss Bright Powder after I switch back to Espeon. And if Espeon misses, and Espeon gets Confuse Raid, I'm suddenly in quite a lot of trouble again. It's higher upside to switch back on the predicted... Well, I'm not even predicting it. It is guaranteed to use Perishong or Mean Look. It is guaranteed. Espeon does outspeed, yeah. The Espeon switch here is amazing, as long as I don't miss. On the other hand, I just stay in an Ice Beam, and it's only bad if I self-hit 3 times. And even then, even if I self-hit 3 times, Espeon can finish this thing off with Psychic. I don't know. I really don't trust Bright Powder not to activate, to be honest. I think I'd rather just stay in. The problem with staying in as well is that if the final Pokemon is some kind of setup set, If I hit Ice Beam here, and then the final Pokemon has like Swords Dance or Calm Mind, I might be in very serious trouble at that point. Even worse would be like Dragon Dance. Wooing is fine, because if I kill it, I'm no longer Perish Trapped. The final Pokemon is not Lumberry, and it's not Bright Powder. That doesn't narrow it down too much, though. What I can do is, if I do self-hit, I can swap next turn. If it leads off with Perish Strong, I'll swap. If it leads off with Mean Look, what that means is that I will then have to be confused for 5 turns, which is impossible. So unless I get Paralyzed Hacks as well, if it leads off with Mean Look, I can actually kill it with Walrein. So the timing on that is actually quite convenient, because the max confused length on Gen 3 is 4 turns. So I think I actually stay in, and if it Perish Strongs, then I switch. Because confusion is guaranteed to end. I guess the other downside here is, what is a little bit concerning is that I snap out of confusion, but get full paralyzed, and then it goes for Perish. That would be quite annoying, because then it could follow that up with Confuse Ray. Or Mean Look, rather, not Perish, Mean Look. It's funny, isn't it? Because if this was like match 40, I would just immediately switch. Any benefit of swapping to Espeon and Perish Strong swapping back? That's fine. But if I swap Espeon into Mean Look, it's not fine. It's fine. I think I stay in. The confuse duration is on my side here. The way that it's going to line up in terms of turn counts. Okay. So I am now guaranteed to snap out of confusion. Or kill it. Yeah. Okay. It probably would have been better to self-hit on that turn, so that I could be closer to escaping confusion. It's Mischievous 3, because Mischievous 1 would have Shadow Balled, and Mischievous 2 has leftovers. Yeah. So Bright Powder and Lumberry are out. God damn it. So it's not RT1. Unfortunately, this is... If this is RT2, I might be lost to RT2 every time here, because Ice Beam won't break the substitute. Best case scenario is definitely Articuno 4. Although Articuno 4 is also a bit of a risk in terms of how the stalling is going to work out, because I've just used 2 Ice Beams. It's got pressure and I'm going to have 4 more. Synchronize. The problem is Articuno is going to Blizzard Espeon. It's not going to Toxic it. Sync goes through sub, yeah. But against Articuno 2, I stall it out of Blizzards with Walrein, don't I? And then I go. So the Articuno 2 line is fine then. Okay, so in that case it's actually worse if it's Articuno 4. Oh god. The problem with Articuno 4 is that I don't even want to stall it out with double team. I want to get it low. I want to get it low so it's going to potentially double edge Espeon. Like, double edge has 15 PP. Can I really stall it out? Do I sack Espeon? Do I sack Espeon for just to get rid of the confusion? Oh my god. PP stalling Articuno 4 seems incredibly difficult. I would definitely have to get no crits from it. It's tricky, isn't it? I don't think I can get to +6 against RT4. Articuno 2 is fine. Warren is not perish songed. Articuno 2 is fine. It's Articuno 4 that's the problem, actually. I've got a feeling against 4. I actually just Ice Beam. I Ice Beam. So I'd Ice Beam, Ice Beam. It would then rest. It's Resto Chesto. Ice Beam, Ice Beam. In that turn, it gets 4 turns. Okay, one of those could be Reflect. But the other 3 have to be Double Edge, right? So Walrein takes all of that damage. We're put into Double Edge range at the end of all of that. And then Espeon comes in on a... Like, do I... Oh my god, do I predict the second Rest? No, I think I just Ice Beam, Ice Beam, Ice Beam, Ice Beam, right? Because Espeon comes in and uses Rest. Then I win if it's Double Edge. And I lose if it's Blizzard. I lose if Blizzard and Blizzard hits. Because it's always going to attack Espeon. Because Espeon's in kill range. Yeah. Okay, in that case, let me check the Reflect AI. So Reflect looks at your own HP, and then it looks if either the opponent's types is special. So Reflect is unlikely. So in that case, the problem with this is that I can get paralyzed, right? Do I just Ice Beam, Ice Beam? Ice Beam, Ice Beam. Because it takes the... It's Ice... It'll use up 2 rests. It takes Ice Beam, then it takes double edge damage from 100-ish. Takes 30. And then Double Edge Psychic kills it. And Walrein can crit as well. I don't think I can bring Espeon in on the predicted rests and waste all of the Blizzard PP. I don't think it's even worth it to do that either. Can't freeze it because it's an ice type, yeah. So I've been ignoring chat. Been lost in thought. Does Articuno 4 always attack? Not always. It can reflect. It's about 10% to use reflect. It's about 90% to attack with double edge at full health. Yeah, it could also beat Articuno. I think Articuno 2 I would always beat though. I think I PP stall it. And it can't be 1 or 3 because of item clause. I'm fairly sure I open up with Ice Beam though. Everyone wants double team. I understand the calls for double team, but double edge has 15 PP in Gen 3. I don't think I'm living that. Like, what would double team look like? Even Let's assume I never get paralyzed. Double team. Okay, it could lead off with reflect instead of double edge, I guess. That would be a very good start to the double teams. I would need at least 6 misses. I'd probably go 3 double teams into curse. I think if it crits once, I'm dead. And if I'm not doing damage myself, and I'm not forcing the resto chesto myself, Espeon's got no chance. Double team's not a bad idea if I get the misses. God damn it, no. Okay. Did 56. That's a bit more than I thought. The self-hit is kind of irrelevant for the first few. Is this enough to force rest? Because I'm slower. I don't think it is. It's very likely to attack again. It's also still above 50 for reflect. Reflect is just a waste of a turn though. So Ice Beam crit would be huge. In fact, the best thing that could happen here is double edge crit. I think double edge crit actually means I always win. As long as it's not a low roll double edge crit. Like if it can roll at 112, do 56 again, double it with a crit. Crit me right now with double edge, and I think I'm going to win. Because I think Espeon's got it. Please crit me. That did 49. It's a massive problem for me if Articuno doesn't see the kill after the next double edge. I don't think I can stall this. If Wulwayne had some form of recovery, I could stall. But even if I curse now, the next double edge, if it doesn't crit, does around 30. I am obviously out of Ice Beams quite soon as well. I could crit the Ice Beam, forcing a second rest. I would then go Espeon myself. I think I definitely want to attack. This is my original plan, where I just Ice Beam 4 times and Articuno does not reflect. And it uses up Resto Chesto. And then I rest with Espeon on a potential double edge and I win with Psychic. The problem with doing that is that Articuno could just Blizzard. But I still use rest with Espeon. Yeah. It's actually quite a big deal if I crit this Ice Beam. But if I don't, it's fine. As long as Articuno doesn't use Reflect. Why rest of Espeon? So that Articuno takes the double edge recoil. So I really want to be in double edge range. Otherwise it's going to rest again. But if it does rest again, I can swap. We'll have to damage calc it though after. It's definitely Ice Beam now. Because it could knock me into double edge range, definitely. So we did 49 and 56, and this one does 52. Okay, and I paralyze. That's really bad. Oh no. Okay, it's time to damage calc it. What is the exact roll of double edge? It didn't really matter until now. So the minimum roll is 48, and everything else kills. Okay, so it can be a 1 in 16 for a min roll, and then 15 in 16 for no crit. If that happens, well, first off, if it sees the minimum roll with the damage calc before using the move, that's bad. But it's still above 50, so it shouldn't use rest or... It's unlikely to use reflect. It'd be 1 in 16 to see the minimum damage roll, and then it's like 10% to use reflect on top of that. So like 1 in 160. That's not something I can really play around. I just need it to use double edge. Once it uses double edge, it'll see the kill on the next turn even if it min rolls. Being paralyzed there might be the reason I lose though, because that ice beam would have been quite important. Focus band would be incredibly clutch to give me the ice beam. While I'm in the damage calc, how much does ice beam do exactly? So it's 44 to 52. And I was on 101, so it did. Okay, so it's going to take 33 in recoil. So the minimum I could have done with the minimum damage roll on Ice Beam, which I don't think I got, would be 77. Articuno's got 165 HP, minus 77. 88. So if it double edges, Espeon I win. Okay. I could also crit Psychic, that is true. Please, Focus Band. Okay. This remain is free for an amazing reason. It has to be rest. Unfortunately, it is a 50-50 on Blizzard or Double Edge. If Blizzard doesn't miss and is chosen, I'm in the same position I am now. I guess if it... Is it in Psychic? No, it's not in Psychic range. It's an Articuno. It's way too specially bulky for that, unfortunately. I need it to Double Edge. Or miss Blizzard. So we Resto, Chesto. Please Double Edge me. And please don't crit. That's the way that this could go badly wrong as well. Yes. So that's always GG, right? I could have actually, that is true, I could have gone for a Reflect if it did Blizzard and Blizzard didn't miss. Reflect, predicting a 50-50 on Double Edge, but I think Psychic always kills. Jesus. I mean, got really lucky against the Raikou, got really lucky against the Raikou. Raikou 4 choking that lead. I should have lost that so badly. I should have lost that so badly. That was a horrendous matchup. Hold on, I'm just going to turn off the sound again. I actually want to watch that back, because that was nuts. So it was led off with Raikou. I was praying for this to be Raikou 2. But it went for Reflect. Raikou 4 went for Reflect, which was nuts. So turn off the auto tracker for this. It did not go for the follow-up T-Wave, which would have been the really, really lucky start. So Settlements went down, and I considered going Wall Rain here instead of Espeon. They both live, but I was just like, the Bresto Chesto makes Espeon probably a bit more useful later. And as the faster Pokemon, Espeon's probably better. So Raikou 4 goes down, and then Mischievous comes out. And I switch because of Mischievous 1. Ends up actually being Mischievous 3. And this confusion was really annoying, but also really expected. And this Ice Beam crit was actually huge. And the fact that it didn't go for Perishon was actually, in hindsight, also huge, because I wouldn't have been able to stay in against Articuno in the same way. I would have been able to switch on the rest after 2 Ice Beams. But if you can counter 3, that's a problem, because that is 3 turns. I don't have all the gold symbols in this file now. We can't really complain about the paralysis, because we did have 4 turns against Articuno. We got paralyzed on one of them. That is literally 1 in 4. It's funny that Articuno critting me would have been good luck, and me critting Articuno would have been good luck, though. So yeah, if we don't get paralyzed on this turn, it's easy. We do. We don't get the focus band, but it's not bad luck. Okay, now I fix the streak counter while I'm in here. The recoil to knock it into psychic range, it's crazy. It is. That was a proper counter scene by Noland, though. It was quite impressive. We'll just keep going. It was quite a long round. Okay, but it's fine. Do another one. So no Nolan this time, which means I'm under less pressure to try and keep the starting sets. Flying type? High risk. High risk is always quite common. Registeel 1? I do like Registeel. You know what? I would also not. Okay, it's Adamant. It is Registeel 1. Okay. Registeel 1 goes quite hard with the IV advantage. It is Registeel 1. Registeel 1 was a meme last stream as well, where it kept showing up on the enemy team. Okay, Registeel 1 is an interesting early option. Whiscash 4 is back again. Okay. Interesting. And Hariyama. You are thick fat. Already actually a team, I would say. I could take those 3. Okay, Salamence 5 is upset that I said that special Salamence were better earlier on. Salamence and Registeel on the same team is a bit strange. But Registeel does appreciate the Intimidate support. Reggie never left. Yes. Okay. It's Marowak. This is quite a good draft. It's just a little bit confusing to me. Okay, and Meganium 3 also really wants to come along. Meganium and Whiscash upset at being left out narrowly in the last draft. This is an interesting one. I could see a case for almost any combination of Pokemon here. I think leaving behind Salamence would be wrong, but apart from that, I think it's interesting. I wish Marowak Salamence wasn't so vulnerable to waters and Registeel also doesn't love to be standing there, potentially being crit for that long as well. What is your favourite mon? I like Zigzagoon. I think Zigzagoon is funny. I do quite like the idea of leading off with Fake Out as well. Fake Out, and then we get out the damage ruler and we see how much damage we did. Which is close to cheating, but it's not actually. It is possible to measure the pixels on a physical game as well. Yeah, the cross drop miss. I mean, the best free Pokemon are Registeel, Salamence, and Marowak, I would say, but it's a bit weird, right? Because I also don't love going Salamence Meganium. I've just got this feeling that Registeel's going to switch into an Ice Beam and get frozen. Just got a feeling that it's going to happen. Hariyama is also an underrated switch-in for Salamence. Tier list of all the Gen 3 Pokemon. Probably not soon. Honestly, I would have to think about it, but I'm pretty sure there's a few Gen 3 Pokemon I've never used in like a serious round. And I think to get a decent feel for the true tier, I think you have to use them at least once or twice. I wish there was T-Wave support on this team, because then I could maybe go Marowak a bit more convincingly. I think I'm going to go Salamence, Registeel, Meganium. I guess flying is a little bit of a spooky first game, right? Perhaps Meganium doesn't come because of flying on the first hint. Rhino-Whack, I'm not a very big Marowak fan. It is exceptionally strong in matchups where it's faster or at no risk of dying to some kind of like quick claw shenanigans, but when Marowak is slow, I feel like it's really, really suffering. We could just go the free good Pokemon, Salamence, Registeel, Marowak, and be receptive to swaps later. Hariyama is thick fat, which does make it an interesting option. It's like someone said in chat, you sometimes have to hit this move, and I don't like hitting this move. Like, 97 speed isn't bad. We outspeed base 90s, which is significant. Base 90 is a big speed tier. But anything with speed investment becomes a problem for Marowak. Anything with speed investment and enough attack. But Marowak can switch into Rock. I mean, so can Registeel. I'm getting a feeling that maybe I should drop Registeel, but I think I'm going to bring it. But I can see the future where I regret bringing Registeel. I can see the future where I regret bringing Registeel. There is a solid alternative team here, which is like something like Salamence. I don't really want to go Salamence, Marowak, Meganium. That's really baiting the ice moves, but Salamence, Hariyama, Marowak might be better than Salamence, Registeel, Marowak. Yeah, I'm worried about the water matchup. Do I just go back to my original idea was Salamence, Meganium, Registeel. I'm just really concerned about Registeel being crit. for something that the other two lose to. It is true, if we don't take Registeel 1, he does come back to haunt us. This is a known way that the factory operates. I don't like Meganium 3 that much. Trust your gut. I don't. My gut is to... My gut is definitely Salamence Registeel. Salamence Registeel and find a decent water type. Like, we can go Whiscash, it's just a bit slow. Like, we are facing the fast in the base 60 waters. We're fast in, like, Lapras, for example. Although there is Lapras too, but... We have the Earthquake for the water matchups. Just don't know what I think about cross-drop counter. I'm gonna go Meganium. Time to go Meganium and, like, immediately lose to some nonsense flyers. I'm gonna go Meganium. Decided. Meganium did nothing wrong. We'll see about that. Okay. He's quite likely to be set 2 then. Parashonk is high risk. If it's not set 2, I would love to set up on it though. Don't think I trust it not to crit me overall. I could go Reggie, I'm just... I think it is Reggie, actually. It is always Reggie, isn't it? If Reggie gets sung, whatever. I'm not going to lose to Altaria 3 with this many Intimidates in the bag. If Registeel gets frozen, I'll be upset, though. What I can do against Altaria... Actually, Altaria 4 is always going to Flamethrower instead of Earthquake, actually. Because of the Intimidate. So it's actually fine if it does get frozen. It's just not fine if it starts critting me. Okay, we did expect that, so is quite likely to eventually use Perish. It's going to be annoying to try and dodge Dragon Breaths. I think I'm actually just going to attack this. Switching into Dragon Breath is very awkward when the other two don't want to get paralyzed. Kind of just waiting for it to perish. Perish, and then we both swap on the same turn, right? It could potentially switch into a Metal Claw Resist, which is fine if it does. It's going to stay on Metal Claw, I think. It would be great to put this into Rock Slide range for later on. Please don't paralyze me on literally the last turn. Nice, okay. So we are the slowest switch. I'm going to go back to Settlements. Going to a Flailmon just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right at all. It can be very difficult to predict what to do. Okay, there's the other flyer. It's quite likely to be Aero 2, 3 or 4. More likely to be Aero 2 or 3, I guess, because of the super effective. No, Aero 2 or 4 with the super effective on Registeel. Which Pokemon would you put to the bedroom? Like, if it wasn't in US dollars, I would assume this is some kind of like Google Translate moment. I don't know if it is or not now. What would be a cool Pokemon to be on? I don't know, like a Ghost type. The Ghost type can give me nightmares, that would be fun. I think we do have to swap here. What is the worst thing that could happen? An Ancient Power Boost. I accept. Okay. Did not go for Rock Slide, making it set 4. Set 4 is going to Earthquake. So I go back to Settlements and I Dragon Dance into Rock Slide. I could just immediately Rock Slide. But I think we have to escape the King's Rock scenario anyway. Okay. I'm not going to get any greedier than this. Time to miss 5 Rock Slides. One down. Okay. It is incredibly likely to be Altaria in next. As I have a good matchup into Altaria with Settlements, obviously, and Altaria has Dragon Breath. Is incredibly likely, yeah. And I am going to slide again. So we have fulfilled high risk. Last Pokemon can be whatever. Okay. So it's not Snorlax 1, it's not Leftovers. It's also not Snorlax 6. Facade won't kill Altaria 2. Altaria 2 is old. So what's the worst that could happen here? Quick Claw Double Edge. Quick Claw Curse. I have to Earthquake, I think, against all of these scenarios. If it is set 4, that's just a bit unfortunate. I could put Registeel in on that, but I've got no idea whether or not it's that yet. I have to stay in, I think. Quick Claw Curse. I did a lot. Like, Snorlax 4 is max HP. It's not max HP, it's max attack, max defense. Just don't think I can tell the difference between 4 and 7 without a damage calc. And also don't think it matters too much. It's only bad if it Quick Claws again. Right. Because if it quick claws again and it is 4... Like, it's going to take too much damage from Meganium. And 7 is going to have to recharge. I think I always win. The 4th Glossier's kill double edge. No. I doubt it. We are max HP defense, special defense on this elements. I think we'd be fine against that. It is going to attack this turn. Okay, good. I think I'd rather it be 7 than 4. Okay. Hyper Beam probably can't kill Meganium at +1. It can technically use Curse here, which makes me not want to endure. If it does get Quick Claw, Hyper Beam, and Meganium dies, that is not good, though. Okay, Quick Claw Curse, of course. It's actually quite annoying. Does Giga Drain do less? Yeah. To be honest, Giga Drain probably does less at +2 special, at +2 defense as well. But I just didn't want to get Quick Claw cursed again. Pretty sure it was guaranteed to Hyper Beam anyway. It's never ever Altaria 2. Aero 4 is funny, but not great. I also don't like Hyper Beam ones. Kind of want something. I wish I could have found out whether or not that Snorlax was Thick Fat. I might take Thick Fat Snorlax 7 over Meganium, but I think it's fine. It's quite likely to be set 4, because that's double high risk. White Herb is very likely to be set 4. Could be set 3 as well because of overheat, but set 4 completes high risk. The one downside of staying in and dancing would be Hypnosis. Let me check the AI on Rapidash 3, the weather AI. It's not broken, yeah. Sunny Day sets in general are not broken. I'm definitely Dragon Dancing. No, it's so cowardly to switch, and also I can't really switch into an overheat set anyway. Okay. The Mega Luck, the Sunny Day overheat crit. Show it to me, the double overheat crit in Sun. With the max sleep. Don't actually do it though. It is actually at -2 now though. It can't Solar Beam because of the AI on Solar Beam. If it crits, I will have to seriously think about what I do. Okay, no crit. It might be better to go Meganium here, unironically. Just go Meganium and click Endure. Get the Slack boost. Don't worry about Hypnosis. The thing is, that loses to the same crit line as staying in here on the final turn of sleep. Like, I don't want to be Hypnosis again. It is very unlikely to kill me, but it could happen. Being at +1 is... it's not ideal. Really, without Adamant and without Attack Investment, I kind of need to be at +3 or +4 to truly sweep. And I would get that if I don't get crit. I don't trust it to not crit me. I just don't. Let's just remove this. And there is still high risk in the back because it wasn't Rapidash 4. Okay, so high risk Milo is Mirror Coat. I think I am always going Registeel here. So I've been playing a lot of Gen 3 and Gen 4 Registeel setup teams. And in my experience, the Registeel sweep is never that safe when they have multiple chances to crit. It's always this. Okay, it's not actually high risk. That's a little bit of a curveball. Okay. So I could switch to all Blizzard and set up Settlements. I don't know, Milo crit would come nowhere close to killing Registeel. No. Milo crit wouldn't even do half. Just worried about being frozen. There's a guaranteed line where I can get the Blizzards gone. Oh no, it could double crit Registeel if that's your question. I thought you meant if Registeel was already set up. I can get double crit here. It is possible. Probably not any point going to +6. I guess the idea behind +6, right, is that crit surf doesn't kill. And a +4 crit surf probably does kill. I'll just wait it. If you amnesia once, double crit doesn't kill. Are you sure about that? Oh, damaged cow kit. Don't think that's true. Double crit does 160-ish. And the final surf at +2 does 20. So I can feint. I wonder what the inside area of Registeel feels like. You think it's a soft metal? Okay, there's the first crit. I've never thought about this. I guess I'm a fake Registeel fan. So you want to be on the final turn of sleep, definitely. might be a case for being at full, literally full health at the cost of 1 rest. I think that's fine. Maybe that matters. Where's the button? Soft indium. I mean, fun fact. So, gold is quite a soft metal. It's also quite inert in relative terms for a metal. The reason why gold is inert is because of valence theory on its outermost electrons. The average energy of them is so high that they move at relativistic speeds, which means the outer electrons in gold are actually way heavier than they should be, and it's way, way, way harder to form bonds like that. Fun fact about gold. Why gold is shiny and doesn't get into many chemical reactions. It's also part of why gold is such a good catalyst. Anyway, time to get quick clawed? Okay. There are a lot of attract sets in Gen 3. I mean, the Gen 3 frontier is very, very biased by the by the tutors and TMs in the game. There's so many random things have Shadow Ball and so on, right? Is Registeel the best Reggie? Yes, yes. Regice is actually the second best, I would say. Regice falls off quite hard in Gen 4, but it's usable in Gen 3. So it was the Hypnosis Rapidash. It was Milo free. I'm not taking Milo free, I'm not hitting blizzards. If I was in the mood for hitting inaccurate attacks, I think I would have taken the Hariyama. The Gen 3 factory is low-key easy enough that you don't have to go for the inaccurate moves. In my opinion, at least. There's nothing wrong with taking them and risking games on them, but I feel like you have enough of an edge. Okay, so it's Wheezing, but it's not high risk, so it's not Wheezing 2. Regice does sound the coolest. This is important, yeah. I think Registeel 1 is probably the best Regi set at 31 IV. I think if it's not at 31 IV, I would rather go for one of the Thunderbolt Regice sets. This is really awesome, you should explain more chemistry thing. Okay. I'm a fountain of useless knowledge. What are we doing against Wheezing? Are we going to stay in and get Will-O-Wisped, maybe? That sounds fun. We could go to Meganium and get crit. I like scouting out what it is. The Celemons Registeel combination. Okay, well, I'm glad I switched. That is a lot more likely in Gen 3 than it is in Gen 4 as well. It's about 10% in Gen 3. So there's no high risk in the back. It's about 2% in Gen 4. Vaporing the switching is interesting. On one hand, I could set up. On the other hand, I don't really want to feint to Vaporeon 1 here, when I know the final Pokemon can't have a super effective attack against Registeel. I think it is the obvious play of just going straight to Meganium. I might be stalling this out of Ice Beams. I think I'm fine against Vaporeon 4. I think Vaporeon 4 and Vaporeon 1 are both completely fine for me. It's 2 and 3 that would be very annoying. Amnesia setup. Don't want to risk the Amnesia setup. No. Not against Surf Crit. Not knowing that the final Pokemon does not have a super effective move for Registeel. Okay, so Acid Armor. So there is the rest or the Baton set. I want to push them towards both moves. Unfortunately, it's going to be quite random on this turn what it does. All the Pokemon you have are 6 IV. So 31 IV is this the stats you get in your own draft. So I'm 31 IV, and the enemies are 3 IV basically. Why is Vaporeon 2 annoying? Because Vaporeon 2 has special defense investment. So because Vaporeon has special defense and defense investment, the Giga Drain Earthquake doesn't kill Vaporeon 2. Whereas Vaporeon 4 and Vaporeon 1, I can safely deal with them without using Registeel. We can go back to Registeel. It's not bad. I just don't know how I feel about potentially giving the final Pokemon a baton past Acid Armor. It might be worth Meganium's life to just Giga Drain 3 times. The problem with Vaporeon 3, of course, is that it is also Quick Claw. Sorry, I forget the terminology. When you said 6 IV, of course, a lot of the Pokemon cultures say 6 IV to mean perfect IVs. I know Japan also do this. Sorry, the answer to your question is yes. The answer to your question is yes. Is Metal Claw the best stab move? Well, outside of Hidden Power, Steel. Yes. Ironhead is Gen 4. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a future video. We, as a community, heavily encourage people to... That's definitely not Vaporeon 4. Really close, right? Sorry, let me finish my we encourage use of emulators because playing on physical cart is so expensive. It's so much easier to stream from an emulator, and we don't want to gatekeep stuff. I'm so concerned about Quick Claw. I think Quick Claw could kill me. Because Vaporeon 3 does not have the attack investment. Because Meganium is base 100 on Spadef 155, base 80 100, it's the classic 50 damage. It's like slap bang in the middle. It's really annoying. That will make no sense to anyone who doesn't see the video that I'm posting in 2 weeks' time, I know, but come back and then it will make sense. Okay, you're just gonna throw, that's perfect. Why don't you baton pass? He's incredibly likely, unfortunately. Low on HP. That's a really, really, really annoying switch in. We might have to intimidate this. Do I want to go through Registeel or not? Because it's going to Thunder Wave. I guess the thing about Zapdos 2 is also a little bit of a factor, right? I think it makes more sense to go through Registeel anyway, though. Might have to not even bother with Intimidate as well. +4 defense Zapdos is an annoying guy. I also don't really want to lose Meganium because it's the convenient way of not being afraid of Vaporeon. I might sack Sediments here. I might go Sediments and just Facade. It's permanent damage unless it's Zapdos free. Scared of being fully paralyzed, very scared. If Registeel gets fully paralyzed, it's kind of over. I'm looking forward to the reaction to this video that is coming out later. We can underspeed with the Rock Slide. I mean, we can do that against all of them except Zapdos 4. Zapdos 4 is going to T-Wave Sediments anyway. Please, Rain Dance. I do think it actually makes a lot of sense to slide. Do you want to slide or Facade? It is an interesting conundrum. The fact that Zapdos 1 is going to roar is so annoying, but I should be fine. Why slide over Facade? Because Rock Slide does more damage. Rock Slide does more damage, but Facade won't miss. Is quite meaningful if it's Zapdos 1 or 4. Zapdos 3, it doesn't really matter. That's not great. There is another option, which is to go back to Meganium. Back to Meganium and just endure. Problem is, it could still be Zapdos 1. This is my chance to go back. I think I'd rather hang the match on Registeel than Meganium, though. It really sucks that I didn't find out any more about the Zapdos set. Yeah, it's leftovers. Oh, the fully paralyzed actually really sucks there. Because we could have gone back to Zapdos. I mean, could have gone back to Meganium. It's tricky to make this work. Second Intimidate. Drawback would be a ranged 2-shot Settlements, I think. Bring in Settlements again. Like, going Meganium here is still not a terrible idea. That damage can backfire. Also, Meganium can be paralyzed. The 10% paralysis is just the real problem there. What we're going Meganium now is that when Settlements comes in on the drill pick at this point, we're 70 HP below where we would have been last turn. Like the T-Belt, that it's gonna still have 3 loops no matter what on Registeel. We could have brought it down to 2 loops. What does going Meganium do? Well, we go back to Settlements. We get to double Intimidate off. The Drill Peck is a range. That ship has sailed. And then we can go back to Meganium again, and we can actually get the full-powered flail, but that's gone with the paralysis. So facade, flail, put it down. The problem is it's Zapdos free. It's not an option. Okay, nice bright powder. Vaporeon. Of course, it can't actually go Vaporeon because it's at +4. It turns off Switch AI actually, doesn't it? This is Gen 3 and 4. Too much Gen 7. It's still worth going for the crit. I might put Meganium in on the Thunderbolts. It depends how badly Registeel gets haxed. You're not afraid of being crit on Registeel? I'm afraid of being crit on Registeel. I'm very afraid of it. Don't do it again. You've used up your crit a lot more. Jesus. Okay, well that's an interesting way of starting the 1v1, yeah. I can't go Meganium yet though. Still got too many Thunderbolts. I genuinely thought it would crit again. I am definitely not spending any time not asleep now. Okay. Drill peck crits aren't a big concern. So at +6 versus +4, we don't break the sub. Nice crit. Okay, I'll take it back. I do need to pay a little bit of attention. I really, really hate using Registeel in tower singles. It just does not work, unfortunately. It's a nice looking idea. Registeel's not bad for PP stalling, but that's about it. So how big of a deal is being paralyzed against Vaporeon? It's fairly big, right? But I can be struggling Vaporeon and that's fine. So it's got 4 drill pecks left. Let's double check. It's 20 PP just gen, yep. And I can spend 6 turns asleep. So I'm fine. Particularly if I get paralyzed a few times. It's got 29 PP there. Will I ever switch? I don't think that's ever going to happen. So I do want it to struggle, right? I do want it to struggle. Because I want to be able to... I don't actually have to do it. It's Vaporeon has to triple crit. It doesn't actually make any difference. Of course we crit. Like, dude. This game knows how to troll me. The turn I get to rest on. Okay, well, if I get a move off, I definitely want it to be an attack. This game, it's just... That's quite funny. Zapdos free is a big pull. Could have rested there if you counted. I was not counting my fully paralyzed turns correctly. I just don't know about the slight vulnerability on Psychic, but I think I prefer it over Meganium. Just a weird swap because Meganium is faster. Meganium isn't blamed for ending the streak, true. Yeah, let's take it. Meganium is innocent. Pod is set 4 in the battle tower. But in here he can be anything. High risk Latias. High risk in the back. Getting the high risk out of the way would have been much more convenient. I don't think I have to be too worried about the King's Rock lines. That's not good. It's not good because it might be 5. I might want to lead off with Metal Claw to discourage Calm Mind in the AI. Either that or I go for the stall. It's probably not 5 then. On the other hand, it just did 20 with both Dragon Claws, and 6 has special attack investment, so it actually is 5, isn't it? That's so cursed. Okay, in that case, do I go for the curse and go for the free shot? It's gonna trigger on recover never because it's faster than me. It won't use recover. I could go much greedier though. There's no way it's 6. It's either that or I go to +3. I just don't like the inconsistency of that when I'm paralyzed. Like I can still hit it now because a crit doesn't kill. It's always going to be a tiny bit of a risk with the chance of it critting and the chance of Bright Powder. But hitting it here is big just to stop Calm Minds. Hit it. Nicely wasting its PP. Might be worth going for the outstall at this point. Like, it would have to get... Not only would it have to get back-to-backs, we'd also have to do that and do it fast enough to have PP left for Sediments and Zapdos. And Zapdos can use Substitute on it anyway. I don't think there's any point going further. Like, I guess it could crit now. You could crit now, crit again, and then it has enough PP to go through Substitute. So I guess I rest here. There's one crit, but it's actually already over, even if it gets crits every other turn for the rest of the game. Of course, I would like Registeel to survive. Nice. So we wake up. Ideally, we run it out of T-waves as well, but that's tricky. It's definitely going to go for it here. We can get Zapdos in on not T-wave, and then Zapdos can waste its PP. It's just a bit unfortunate that I have to do that through either substitute or T-wave PP myself. I can get it with one Thunderbolt, but that's it. That's annoying, isn't it? Exact scoring on the minus. So, because I've done damage to it, it's at minus 11 on T-Wave. That's not great. Carmine is probably going first, at least. And recover when faster is like -3 or something. Yeah. It's -8 and then it's -3 when it's full health. So recover goes first. Recover first, then Carmine, then Thunderwave. Okay. Last time was your chance to swap in Zapdos. We don't have to put in Zapdos now. This Latias is not going to do much damage with Struggle. Like Latias Struggle crit against elements probably doesn't even do 40. There's no point bringing Zapdos in on the recovers, but I can bring it in for Calm Mind and T-Wave stalling. T-Wave isn't going to be hit by pressure unless I want to spend some substitute PP on it, which I might. I probably do want to paralyze it before it struggles. Both of those lines are valid. So what's unfortunate about this, I guess, is the fact that it is not actually guaranteed to Calm Mind on Registeel. It's just much more likely than T-Wave. It's not terrible to sweep with Registeel as well. That is not terrible. It might be better to not do that. I mean, Salamence would only be switching if it's Quick Claw enemy, and even then I probably would stay in. I'm a little bit grumpy about giving up my... giving up the PP for this, but I think it's fine. I can go for Pex and Bolts. A little bit more forward. glad I did not use that earlier. That's fine. At this point, it's fine. So only Carmine left. Why not T-Waves? I don't want it to get fully paralyzed too much when I'm PP stalling it. Time to miss bright. It's very nice that this has bright powder, so there's nothing in the back, I guess. Should have started with Ready Seal, maybe. You might be right about that. We'll see if a Quick Claw Pokemon comes out. Damn it. So high risk Regirock does make it 2 or 5 very likely as well. Problem is, Registeel doesn't really want to come in on Regirock. I think we stay in and risk the Quick Claw crit. It didn't have to be a Quick Claw Regirock as well. Depends what the final Pokemon is. So it's decently likely to actually be Entei free, and then it could have been a single high risk on Regirock. Latias 5 is also a strange creature. There's the water. High risk water is a little bit scary with the sheer colds, the fissures, and the countercoats. It wouldn't be completely unthinkable to drop Salamence. I just really, really dislike it. The battle was 99% Latias. That Entei is deadlier than my sleep schedule. Oh god. Yeah, like Zapdos is really good into water, obviously. There is a case for Latias over Salamence, I just don't like it as much. They both have Bright Powder, it's true. Be a Bright Powder for Bright Powder swap. I think I stay with Salamence though. Because high risk water can also mean some of the physical sets as well. It's alright, it's not even midnight yet in the UK. I don't think so. Latias 5 is a lot better than Latios 5, but at the lower IVs, Latias loses its main edge over Latios, which is the ability to switch into a critical hit Ice Beam without stab and live. Tentacle, so the coat sets are quite likely. And unfortunately the coat sets both on Ice Beam. I think we probably do stay in though. Just kill the coat sets with Earthquake. The problem is that Tentacle 3 is faster than Salamence. So the only bad case of staying in is Tentacle 3 hitting Ice Beam and critting. So perhaps it is just better to go Registeel. I do always risk Registeel being frozen in those lines though. And I wouldn't want to kill Tentacle 2 outright without setting up. Yeah, it's 1 AM in the rest of Europe. I like the streaming UI. The streaming UI is JavaScript on my computer. Made with a lot of time and effort basically. Fast, let me always DD first. I'm fast in the Tentacles that don't have speed investment basically, because Tentacle is base 100. Same as Sullivan's. So the only one that's faster is the one with investment. I'm going to go Reggie Steel. Find to be frozen. Yep. Okay, now that I'm in, do I want to immediately go for rest to cover for double Hydro Pump crit potential? Ice Beam did 13. Don't think that tells me anything. Like, Tentacle 3 is modest, but it's a small gap. Does Mirror Coat look up freeze? Don't think so. No, Mirror Coat is just your typing into your HP from the enemy. Special. Okay. I think leading off Amnesia is fine. Because the double crit lines are also a risk after turn 1. There's such a thing as being too greedy. Nice crit. Oh god. Punish me. Okay, it's gone back to Mirror Coat. Like, we could just rip it at +5. We do not need +6. It probably never matters. If I want to maximise my odds of not being nonsense, it is very likely to attack here, of course, but we've got places to be. I don't want to fully stall everything we run into. And we also lose PP doing that, and Reggie Steel's PP is a resource. Warlord is one of the few Pokemon where being at +6 actually would have mattered. Is pretty likely to be a Fisher or Earthquaker. DJ Steel, what a name. I'm actually just going to stay in. I really want to stay in. I know it's better to go Zapdos, but the Zapdos not killing is a potential annoyance, right? Like Warlord 4 gets the Quick Claw on Zapdos, it's equally annoying, right? With Ice Beam, Ice Beam. If I missed a range. If it Earthquakes, I guess I go back to Reggie Steel. One Claw then switch, we could do it. It's just much better against Warlord 3 to switch. Okay, it's Warlord 2, but it didn't go for the Amnesia. Actually not going to, I don't think I am going to actually substitute. Is not very likely it goes for double edge, but if it does, it's annoying. I can double sub before I'm at risk of being in crit range. The problem with the Warlord 4 lines is that I'm using pressure on Earthquake, so it would start behaving randomly. Even if it fully maximised the use of Fisher. Substitute Amnesia. Thunderbolt Amnesia. Thunderbolt Rest. No, it would be substitute Amnesia. Thunderbolt. Amnesia, Thunderbolt Rest. I don't want that. If I never crit, I'm actually in trouble then. Okay. Well, it's not impossible to predict. So it's 2, 3, or 4, and I'll two-shot all of them. I don't think any of them can easily live the combo. You gonna crit me? No. Could focus band. We can substitute to get rid of 2 more Mega Kick PP. So it has no Mega Kick PP for Settlements. Do it again, but the damage has been done. I imagine you'd be good at chess. I used to play chess a lot. But actually, I never had a lot of patience for openers. And it's hard to make progress past a certain point in chess without strong opening theory. Was actually tentacle free, which could be a pickup. You could argue for it. Not sure exactly. There is a possibility that the VOD gets muted. I think I've used this players before in the past, and there has been some kind of issue with VOD muting. Houndoom. I'm looking out for exactly that. High risk. It's very likely to be set free. Set 4 also possible, but set 3 is high risk on its own. I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but let me double check on the brokenness of Houndoom 4. It's never broken with things. I mean, yeah, so as like a kid and a teenager, you can get very far by having solid fundamentals in the mid game. That is true. I'm weighing up how greedy I want to be. If this is crunch, I probably am going to immediately attack. Okay. Dedge. Could take another Dedge. I probably cut it short at +1. Avoid being crit. I always like playing the computer in chess, but I would never win. But I still enjoy playing the computer. Let's not get crit and go low. Being high HP on Settlements, I think, is worth more than being at +2. We're not a adamant max attack Settlements anyway. Shuckle's a bit weird. It's a likely 1 or 2 as well with the rock moves. I really want to dance again. I don't want to get flashed though. It's more likely to double team anyway. It's just random chess is my favourite Pokemon. Yeah, but chess Chess is fundamentally flawed because when you make a move in chess, there's not a 5% chance you miss, and it does nothing. Okay, so it's Shuckle 1. Let's fast track this. We can force it to rest, which I think is fine. If I crit, I don't mind. Shuckle 1, it's over. Didn't go for it, okay. I really thought you were going to do that. We're at +5, that's plenty. There is no bright powder set. Shuckle gaming. Always love to see the enemy having a shuckle. High risk. It would be really funny if you just like, if you did a move in chess and your opponent just sat there with like a 10-sided die, and if they roll a 1, they can undo your move. That is kind of what higher level Pokemon can feel like sometimes. Particularly in hyper offensive metas. We took a last minute swap, I don't think so. Houndoom 3 is not really it. Without the special attack investment. Does high risk, high return show up this often normally? I don't remember the exact percentages, but high risk, high return is the second most common after no type, no phrase. I mean, no phrase. So high risk, high return is very common, yeah. A lot of sets do activate it. High risk, high return and no phrase are like at least 90% of games, I feel like. I am not that old yet. Sure. Okay, white herb check. Is Moltres... Okay, it's not white herb. I was going to say it's Moltres 4 likely, but this is actually not a high risk Moltres. Always check this, expecting it to be different, even though I wrote it. Let me check Moltres 3 on the broken AI. It is not broken. Okay. So Moltres 1 is going to Flamethrower. Moltres 3 is going to Double Team. Very likely. Do I want to just kill Moltres 1 before it gets to use Flamethrower? How much do I care about Moltres 3 as well? There's no more fire or flying on the enemy team, most likely. Which is good news for Registeel. Why don't you stream split simultaneously on Twitch? Because my internet's not very good, and the only way I can see of doing that is either by paying or by opening multiple instances of OBS. But yeah, I might start doing that in the future. Does Slide kill without a boost? Yes, Slide will kill, but Dragon Dance is nice if it's Moltres free, because I'm already slower than it anyway. I think I am gonna dance. If Moltres 1 burns me, I'll double dance. And then I have Facade anyway, for later on. Okay. Oh, dude. I don't know, maybe I do this attack. Do I just kill it? Just kill it while I still got health. Because taking another turn of burn and another flamethrower is a lot of damage. Because I've then got to stay in again to kill it next turn, right? Probably just kill it. Oh. This is why Special Sediments is better. You're not wrong. Okay, it's fine. We would never miss, right? This is so stupid. Playing for a burn. Nido Queen switching in. It does suggest the special set. I think at this point I don't care about Sediments too much. I think I want to just go for double Earthquake. Double check the AI on Superpower. Intimidates are useful. There is a definitely logic behind keeping Sediments alive. Registeel. Get frozen. Stay in for Flamethrower, be unfrozen. Was Moltres 1 also Lumber? It was. So it's not Nido Queen free, that's true. I mean, in that case, it's kind of the Rock Slide set that is the most annoying one. Let's go Registeel. Okay. It's fine. Zapdos takes the double kick very well. I can also stay in. The problem with double kick is the fact that double kick has 2 chances of critting is quite annoying for setup. It is fairly likely to waste about half of its turns on counter anyway, though. It's probably Nido Queen 4. You mean Nido Queen 1 because of... Well, 1 and 2 are both high risk, high return. Switching 10 times can go wrong between Zapdos and Registeel here. Particularly with counter being semi-random. It might be better to just curse. Don't Oko at +6. In that case, we'll have to not curse too early then. Really not okay? Sure, it's a range. Six IV, 37% to 43% with the crit. Metal Claw crit into counter is very funny. I can definitely go Zapdos a few times. Running it a bit out of some double kick PP is not terrible. Swap swelling of Zapdos is a tiny bit risky because of double kick and counter both being semi-random. It's not guaranteed to Sludge Bomb 10 times on the 10 switches. And double kick does about 6% to Zapdos over leftovers healing. And it would have 12 chances to crit. And if it does a few counters, it'll be more like 14 or 16. So Zapdos goes low. And Zapdos has to wait for Body Slam to be out of PP as well before it can heal up. Problem is it can counter. It'd be nice if Celements wasn't burned. It might be worth putting Celements in actually, just once, to reduce the average damage that Zapdos takes. It does like counter. It is random. They're both +0. How much do I care about Registeel being hit by Body Slam paralysis? Like, it's okay. It's not what I want. He would be unbelievably unlucky. The thing is, Zapdos is not coming in after the final 4 double kicks. This is random. Literally this turn. Might be better to put Celements in. So it has to crit 3 out of 6 double kicks from here. And I'm going to rest on the next turn no matter what anyway. 4 double kick crits in a row probably does kill Registeel. So I'm not dead at least. Put it on again. I just don't think I'm going to play around 4 out of 4 crits. It's just ridiculously unlikely. We can rest on the final. Okay, yeah, like that. Crit double kick rolls damage and crits independently. Focus Band would be funny. Let's see Focus Band. Nice crit. Okay. It's funny. Well, it has to be high risk. That doesn't narrow it down at all. 3.5 hours is longer than I normally go for. It's like we're playing Gen 4 Tower, I know. Getting PTSD flashbacks. I think I'm gonna call it there. I think that's too much. We will potentially play again tomorrow. Registeel win. Registeel win. Registeel 1. Registeel win. Okay. Cool, thanks for watching, guys. Maybe I'll get a video out tomorrow. It seems unlikely, given how much editing is left, but I'll try. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.